Hello, Jay here. Welcome to Beginning Drums, Chapter 13. Okay, we're going to continue exploring our eighth note triplet along with our quarter notes and our eighth notes and all of our rests up to this point. Okay, go ahead and take a look at number one. For this one, we're going to start off with the whole note rest on bar one. That means we won't play anything. Okay, for bar two, we have quarter notes on beats 1 and 2, eighth note triplets on beats 3 and 4. For bar three, we're going to have quarter notes on beats 1 and 2. We'll have eighth notes on beats 3 and 4. Bar 4 starts off with an eighth note triplet on beat 1, a quarter note rest on beat 2, and then quarter notes on beats 3 and 4. Okay, now for all these, I recommend let your sticks rotate, keep varying them, and also want to point out, repeat each of these 4 to 8 times and try some different tempos. I'll just be doing them one time for the lesson, but you can always push your tempos, but start off nice and slow. Okay, here comes number one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, triplet, 4, triplet, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 triplet, rest, 3, 4. Okay, let's go to number 2. For number 2, we're going to start off with an eighth note triplet on beat 1, and then we have quarter notes on beats 2, 3, and 4. For bar 2, we have a quarter note rest on beat 1, eighth note triplet on beat 2, quarter note rest on beat 3, and then a quarter note on beat 4. For bar 3, we have eighth notes on beat 1. On beat 2, there's an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the and of that beat. Half note rest for beat 3 and 4. For bar 4, we have eighth note triplets on beats 1 and 2 with quarter notes on beats 3 and 4. Okay, here comes number 2. 1, 2, 3, triplet, 4, triplet, 1, triplet, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, triplet, rest, 4. 1 and rest, and 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. Okay, let's go to number 3. For number 3, we're going to start off with a quarter note rest on beat 1. We have an eighth note triplet on beat 2, quarter note rest on beat 3 with a quarter note on beat 4. Bar 2 has eighth notes on beats 1 and 2. On beat 3, we have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the and of that beat. Beat 4 is a quarter note rest. Bar 3 is a whole note rest where we won't play anything. And then bar 4 is going to start off with an eighth note rest on the downbeat of 1. We'll hit the and. Eighth note triplets for beats 2 and 3, and then a quarter note rest on beat 4. Okay, here comes number 3. 1, 2, 3, triplet, 4, triplet, rest. 2, triplet, rest, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, and 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, rest. Okay, I'm going to do number 3 a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2 triplet, rest, 4. 1 and 2 and rest, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 triplet, 3 triplet, rest. So you can really see when those triplets get side by side with the straighter rhythms, like eighth notes especially, it's quite a different rhythm. So I always think about the triplets sound like they're slower in a way, even though you're hitting more notes on a beat, but they have like a certain laid backness to them. So watch out for speeding up your triplets. They might want to turn into like this, but it's more like, think of that even 3 notes on a beat. Okay, let's go to number 4. For this one, we're going to start off with eighth notes on beat 1. Beat 2 has an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the and of that beat. Quarter note for beat 3. Eighth note triplet for beat 4. For bar 2, we're going to start off with a half note rest on beat 1 and 2. Beat 3 is an eighth note triplet. Beat 4 is a quarter note. For beats 1 and 2 of bar 3, we'll have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the ands of those beats. Beat 3 is a quarter note, and then beat 4 is an eighth note triplet. For bar 4, we'll have a quarter note rest on beat 1, a quarter note on beat 2, eighth note rest for the downbeat of 3. We'll hit the and of that beat, and then a quarter note rest for beat 4. Here comes number 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and rest and 3, 4 triplet, rest, rest, 3 triplet, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 triplet, rest, 2, 3 and rest. Okay, let's take it to number 5. For number 5, we're going to start off with beats 1 and 2. We'll have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the ands of those beats. Beat 3 is an eighth note triplet. Beat 4 is a quarter note. Bar 2 has a quarter note on beat 1, eighth note triplet on beat 2, eighth notes on beat 3, and a quarter note rest on beat 4. Bar 3 has eighth notes on beats 1 and 2, an eighth note triplet on beat 3, and then a quarter note on beat 4. Bar 4 has an eighth note rest on the downbeat of 1. We'll hit the end of that beat, an eighth note triplet on beat 2, and then a half note rest for beat 3 and 4. Okay, here comes number 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 triplet 4. 1, 2 triplet 3 and rest. 1 and 2 and 3 triplet 4. 1 and 3 triplet rest, rest. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 6. For number 6, we're going to start off with a quarter note on beat 1, quarter note rest on beat 2. On beat 3, we'll have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the end of that beat, and then an eighth note triplet on beat 4. Bar 2 is a whole note rest. We won't play anything. Bar 3 has eighth note triplets for beats 1 and 2, a quarter note rest on beat 3, eighth notes on beat 4. Bar 4 starts off with a quarter note rest on beat 1. We'll have an eighth note rest on the downbeat at 2. We'll hit the end of that beat. Beat 3 is a quarter note rest, and then beat 4 is an eighth note triplet. Here comes number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4 triplet. Okay, let's go to number 7. For number 7, we're going to start off with a quarter note on beat 1 of bar 1. We have an eighth note triplet on beat 2, and then a half note rest for beats 3 and 4. Bar 2 starts off with a half note rest for beats 1 and 2. We have an eighth note triplet on beat 3, eighth notes on beat 4. For bar 3, we have a quarter note on beat 1. For beats 2 and 3, we'll both have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the ends of those beats. Bar 4 is a quarter note. Beat 4 is a quarter note rest. For bar 4, we're going to have a eighth note triplet on beat 1. Beat 2 has an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the end of that beat. And then an eighth note triplet on beat 3 with a quarter note rest on beat 4. Okay, here comes number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 triplet, 2, and 3 triplet rest. Okay, let's go ahead and do the last one. For number 8, we're going to start off with eighth note triplets for beats 1 and 2. Beat 3 has a quarter note, and beat 4 is a quarter note rest. Bar 2 starts with a quarter note rest on beat 1. For beat 2, we're going to have an eighth note rest on the downbeat. We'll hit the end of that beat. Beat 3 has eighth notes. Beat 4 is a quarter note rest. Bar 3 starts with a quarter note rest on beat 1. We'll have eighth note triplets for beats 2 and 3, quarter note rest for beat 4, and then bar 4 is a whole note rest. We won't play anything. Here comes number 8. 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 rest. 1, 2, and 3, and rest, rest. 2 triplet, 3 triplet, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to play number 8 a little faster. 1, 2, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 rest. 1, 2, and 3, and rest. 1, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, rest, 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 rest. Okay, let's take it over to rudiments. Okay, today we're going to learn the 5-stroke roll. It's one of my favorites. It's going to be 2 doubles and an accented single. So if we think of it like this, right, right, left, left, right, 2 doubles, right, right, left, left, and then that's the single. And we'll just put an accent on it. So it's going to look like this. Okay, let's go ahead and get to know it. Going to start us off nice and slow. We're going to think of them all like quarter notes, but these are leading into, we're going to be getting into some 30-second notes today. So this can be a pretty fast rudiment, but also it's mostly about the sticking, so it doesn't have to be 30-second notes too. Okay, now if you think of it as quarter notes, I'm just going to put us in 4/4, and we're going to do quarter notes for the first bar. We'll have 1 quarter note on beat 1 of bar 2, and then we just rest for beats 2, 3, and 4 of that second bar. Okay, now here's our sticking. Right, right, left, left, right, rest, 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 left, left, right, right, left, rest, 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 rest. Okay, I'll go ahead and count myself in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, right, left, left, right, rest, 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 left, left, right, right, left, rest, rest, rest. Okay, now we're going to turn them into eighth notes. So, or for the doubles. Now for our doubles, to make them sound like eighth notes, we'll be playing it like this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, now the eighth notes will be doubles. Right, right, left, left, right, rest. Left, left, right, right, left, rest. So that's the concept. What count is it? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And right, right, left, left, right, rest. Left, left, right, right, left, rest. Okay, that's the concept. And then don't forget, repeat each of these 4 to 8 times and try some different tempos. Okay, now we're going to turn them into 16th notes for our doubles. So they're going to sound like this. 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2. So now we're in 2/4, 2 beats per bar. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put in my doubles into a single and then flip it around. 1, 2. Right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's make them into 4 30-second notes into an eighth note. It's going to sound like this. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. And if you're counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to keep us in 2/4, and then we're going to have a quarter note rest on beat 2. So here it is, nice and slow. Right, right, left, left, right, rest. Left, left, right, right, left, rest. Okay? Da, 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 rest. 1, 2. Right, 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 rest. Left, left, right, right, rest. Right, right, rest. Rest. Okay, now for number 5, the last one, we're just going to do back-to-back 5-stroke rolls. And for this one, I'm just going to keep my right stick lead, and then I'll just stop and go into left lead after that. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. 1, 2. Right, 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 right. Okay, now here starting with left. 1, 2. Left, 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 left. Okay, now let's push our tempo for some fun. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. And then just faster. So that's where it's kind of heading. So anyway, really fun rudiment. I use it all the time, and we will apply it. So have fun with it. Cheers. All right, welcome to Beats and Fills. Today's beat's going to have a basic concept. For beat 1, we'll have our bass drum on the downbeat. We're going to have bass drum on the ands of 2 and 3 and 4 for this one. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 1. This is going to be the quarter note version of the beat. On beat 1, we have the basic concept, so bass drum and hi-hat together. On beat 2, we're going to have a snare and hi-hat on the downbeat. We'll hit a bass drum by itself on the and. On beat 3, we'll have a hi-hat on the downbeat of 3. We'll hit a bass drum on the and of 3. On beat 4, we have a snare and hi-hat on the downbeat. And then we'll hit a bass drum on the and of 4. So here's beat number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, for beat number 2, this is going to be the 8th note version of this beat. So on beat 1, we have a basic concept, bass drum and hi-hat on the downbeat. We'll hit the hi-hat on the and. On beat 2, we're going to have a snare and hi-hat together on the downbeat. We'll hit the bass drum with the hi-hat on the and of 2. On beat 3, we're going to split up hi-hat by itself on the downbeat, bass drum and hi-hat on the and of 3. On beat 4, we have a snare and hi-hat for the downbeat. And then on the and of 4, we'll hit our bass drum with that hi-hat. Here's beat number 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3, we're going to do the 16th note version of this beat. The way we count our 16th notes is like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. On beat 3, we're going to have a basic concept. So that's bass drum on the downbeat, 1 E and. We're going to hit the bass drum on the and of 2. So we have our snare on the downbeat, 2 E and. On beat 3, we're going to hit the bass drum on the and. So we'll have 3 E and then beat 4, just like beat 2, have snare on the downbeat and then bass drum on the and of 4. 4 E and. Here's beat number 3. 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Let's do some fills. The way we'll do this, first concept is to play a rhythm all snare. Second is to put it on the drum set. And third is for you to make your own drum fill and write it on the staff. Okay, let's start off with number 1. We're going to have a quarter note on beat 1, 8th note triplets on beat 2, quarter note on beat 3, 8th note triplets on beat 4, and this is all snare. Okay, I put this one on the drum set around the horn. So on beat 1, we're going to put that quarter note on snare. 8th note triplet goes on tom 1 for beat 2. Quarter note on beat 3 is tom 2. And then 8th note triplet on floor tom for beat 4. Okay, now it's time for you to make up your own drum fill. So have fun exploring some different possibilities here using this rhythm. So for number 1, let's say it starts with the quarter note. If you want to put that first note on tom 1, just put it on the top space. If you want to split up your triplet into 3 different notes, let's say if I want to go snare 2 floor, I would just write those separate notes, connect them with the straight lines, those are the stems, and then put a straight flag across, that's the top line, and then put a 3. For a quarter note on beat 3, if you want to put let's say a flam on your crash, just put in a grace note X and then a circle, both would be circled X's above the staff for your crash, and you could make it into a crash or a flam on your crash. And then the last triplets, let's say if we wanted all bass drum, just put in an 8th note triplet with all your bass drum on the bottom space, and then you've made your own fill and you've arranged it for the drum set. All right, let's take a look at fill number 2. We're going to start off with an 8th note triplet on beat 1, a quarter note rest on beat 2, 8th notes on beat 3, and then an 8th note triplet on beat 4. This is all snare. Okay, the way I arrange this one for the drum set, I put beat 1's 8th note triplet on floor tom. There's that quarter note rest on beat 2. For the 8th notes on beat 3, I put 2 flams on snare. And then for the 8th note triplet on beat 4, that's going to be all tom 1. For number 3, we're going to do 8th notes on beat 1. There's an 8th note rest on the downbeat of 2. We'll hit the and of that beat. And then 8th note triplets for beats 3 and 4. This is all snare. Okay, I arranged fill number 3 for the drum set. For those eighth notes on beat 1, I put a flam on the snare for the downbeat of 1, and then a bass drum on the and of 1. On beat 2, we have a bass drum on the and of 2. And then the 2 eighth note triplets, we're going to have the first one on beat 3 on tom 2, and then the last one on beat 4 will be on snare. For fill number 4, it's going to start off with a half note rest. We won't play anything for 2 beats. Then we're going to go into 2 eighth note triplets for beats 3 and 4. This is all snare. Okay, I put this one on the drum set like this. On beat 3, we're going to do all the eighth note triplet on beat 3 as a combination with our bass drum and our crash. And then I'm going to split up the eighth note triplet on beat 4 with a tom 1, tom 2, and a floor tom. Okay, now we're going to combine our beats and fills. The goal here is to play 4 bars of our given beats from the lesson and then go into a fill. You could do a fill that you wrote. You could do one of my fills for snare or all drum set. Either way, it's all good. I wrote examples of my orchestrated fills for the first 3 examples. So for number 1, we're going to do 4 bars of the quarter note version of the beat into fill number 1 on the drum set. Okay, now it comes time for you to improvise your own fill. So just basically play any of the beats for 4 bars and then play your own drum fill for a bar. And it's always great to improvise it, let it flow, let it come off the top of your head, whatever feels good at that moment. And then you're making it come right from your heart. So no matter what, it's winning. And I appreciate you doing that too. Welcome to the study. Today we're going to talk about floor tom beats. These are really fun beats. They're really pumping. They're powerful. They could be aggressive at the same time. They can also be chill in their own way, but a lot of times these have a certain aggression to them, I always think. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 1. We're going to do 4 bars of a basic quarter note beat on our hi-hat, and then just switch your right hand over to your floor tom. Keep everything going the same. You're still going to have your bass drum on beats 1 and 3, your snares on beats 2 and 4, but instead of a cymbal, now we're playing our floor tom for every beat with our right hand. number 4, we're just going to switch up our beat. We're going to add some bass drum. We're going to have eighth notes in our bass drum this time. Everything else is basic. So for number 4, this is the quarter note version of the beat, 4 times on your hi-hat, and then switch over to your floor tom for 4 times. Okay, for number 7, we're going to do a different beat now. We're going to do a quarter note beat, but we're going to have a bass drum only on the and of 3 this time. And we're going to go 4 bars hi-hat to 4 bars floor tom. Start off with a drum fill, just quarter notes on our snare, into a basic quarter note beat on our hi-hat 4 times. We're going to do a flam quarter note fill around the horn, so it'll be snare 1, 2, floor, and then into floor tom quarter note beat for 4 times. For number 11, we're going to do the eighth note version of this similar concept. We're going to start off with an eighth note fill, all snare, 1 time. We're going to launch into our floor tom beat this time first, and that's going to be pumping floor toms for 4 bars, eighth note style. Then we're going to do a eighth note fill around the horn. That'll be snare, snare, 1, 1, 2, 2, floor, floor, and then over to our hi-hat for normal eighth note basic beat 4 times. last one, number 12, we're going to start off with a 16th note fill, all snare, 1 bar, into a basic 16th note beat for 4 times on our hi-hat. We'll do a 16th note fill around the horn. That's going to be snare, 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 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, into 4 bars of 16th note floor tom beat. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for chapter 14. Cheers.